Imagine walking into a historic palace in England and discovering that someone has stolen a fully functional toilet made entirely of solid gold, not damaged, not vandalized, stolen. Overnight, thieves ripped it out, caused flooding inside the building, and disappeared. The toilet alone was worth millions of dollars, and somehow this wasn't the boldest theft on the list. Throughout the 20th century and beyond, some of the most audacious robberies weren't about speed or violence. They were about confidence. These crimes didn't look like crimes at all. They looked ordinary, calm, almost boring. That's what made them work. Today we're exploring the boldest thefts in modern history, cases where people walked into highly protected places and simply took what wasn't supposed to be taken. Let's start with the one that sounds like a joke. In 2019, an artwork by Italian artist Maurizio Cattelan was displayed at Blenheim Palace in England. The piece was called America. It was a fully operational toilet made of 18-karat gold. Visitors could actually use it. Late one night, thieves entered the palace, dismantled the installation, and removed it entirely. The theft caused significant flooding, damaging parts of the historic building. Despite the value and the publicity, the artwork was never recovered. What made this theft bold wasn't just the object itself, it was the location. Blenheim Palace is not a random building. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, heavily protected and constantly monitored, and yet the thieves acted as if they were removing a broken appliance. No alarms, no dramatic chase, just confidence and speed. Next, we move from a palace to one of the busiest airports in Europe. In 2005, a group of criminals carried out a massive diamond theft at Amsterdam's Schiphol airport. The target was the airport's cargo terminal, where shipments of diamonds passed through daily. Instead of forcing their way in, the thieves dressed like airport workers. They used vehicles that looked legitimate. They carried documents that appeared authentic. To everyone watching, it looked like another routine operation. Within hours, diamonds worth over $100 million were gone. No alarms were triggered. No one stopped them. By the time authorities realized what had happened, the thieves had vanished. The boldness here wasn't technical brilliance, it was social engineering. They didn't fight the system, they blended into it. In 1994, during the Winter Olympics in Norway, police resources were stretched thin. That's when thieves struck the National Gallery in Oslo. Their target was Edvard Munch's iconic painting, The Scream. They broke in through a window, removed the painting, and left the building in under a minute. Before leaving, they left behind a note. It read, "Thanks for the poor security." The theft happened in broad daylight during one of the country's most high-profile events. The painting was later recovered, but the message was clear. Security isn't just about locks and alarms. It's about timing. One of the most famous thefts in history happened long before cameras, sensors, or modern surveillance existed. In 1911, the Mona Lisa was stolen from the Louvre in Paris. At the time, the painting wasn't the global icon it is today. It hung quietly on a wall among many others. A museum worker entered the gallery, removed the painting from its frame, wrapped it in cloth, hid it under his coat, and walked out. No one noticed. The theft wasn't discovered until the next day. For over 2 years, the Mona Lisa was missing. The boldness wasn't in the escape. It was in how simple the act was. The man didn't break in. He didn't run. He behaved like someone who belonged there. In 1990, one of the largest art thefts in history took place in Boston. At the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum, 2 men arrived late at night, dressed as police officers. They told the security guards there was a disturbance inside. The guards let them in. Within minutes, the guards were restrained, and the thieves began removing artworks from the walls. They took 13 pieces, including works by Rembrandt and Vermeer. The total value was estimated at hundreds of millions of dollars. None of the artworks have ever been recovered. This theft didn't rely on force or hacking. It relied on trust. The guards believed the uniforms. They believed the authority. That belief cost the museum everything. Now we move to London. In 2015, a group of elderly men carried out one of the most unexpected heists in modern British history. The target was Hatton Garden, London's jewelry district, home to an underground vault used by dozens of businesses. Over a holiday weekend, the group drilled through a concrete wall into the vault. They worked slowly, methodically, and without urgency. When the crime was discovered, the public was shocked. The thieves weren't young professionals or international criminals. They were pensioners, men in their 60s and 70s. The boldness wasn't in speed or stealth, it was in patience. They trusted that no one would expect them. Finally, we end in France. In 1976, criminals targeted a bank vault in Nice. Instead of breaking in directly, they accessed the vault by digging through underground sewer tunnels. They spent weeks carefully tunneling beneath the city. When they reached the vault, they opened hundreds of safety deposit boxes. They didn't rush, they didn't panic. Before leaving, they wrote a message on the wall: without weapons, without hatred, without violence. They disappeared, leaving authorities stunned. What unites all of these thefts is not intelligence or technology, it's boldness. The thieves didn't act like criminals, they acted like insiders. They understood that most security systems are built to stop obvious threats: people running, breaking, or behaving suspiciously. What these thieves exploited was normality, routine, assumption, confidence. In every case, the greatest weakness wasn't the lock or the alarm. It was the belief that no one would dare. And that belief turned out to be wrong. Subscribe to our channel. Many more fascinating stories are coming.